Hey everyone, Simon Townsend from IGEL. Happy New Year. To start the new year off, I thought I would do a quick interview with one of our new employees, Craig Hinchliffe.
Hello.
Welcome to IGEL.
Thanks, Simon.
How are you?
I am good. Very excited. New year, new job.
Good, good, good. Why don't we start? Tell us who you are, where do you live, where'd you come from, who are you?
Yeah, so, I've known you, I think it's 15 years now.
Yeah, I've got the scars to prove it.
I think I met you at Unipalm /ComputerLink/Arrow with some Kevin Spratt.
Yes, Kevin Bratt. Yeah, I remember.
Spratt.
Yeah.
So yeah, so like I say, I've come from Citrix. I probably start with the obvious. My name is Craig Hinchliffe. I, for the last 13 years, been employed by Citrix. Actually, it would have been 13 years tomorrow. And I was tied quite closely because my previous girlfriend and I split up on the day I joined Citrix. So every year I would message her and say, happy break-anniversary. Got a bit weird after 10 years. But yeah, so 13 years in Citrix. I was an SE for 8 of those. I did some technology evangelist stuff. Love that title. And then, a bit like yourself, I moved into product management in, I think it was 2015, reporting into Sridhar Mullapudi and Bill Burley.
Mm-hmm.
And I was given, back then it was Zen App and Zen Desktop, became CVAD. Probably responsible for closing a lot of the gaps between the IMA, FMA stuff. So yeah, I did that. Now at IGEL, back in as an SE.
Good.
Hands-on, breaking stuff.
Yeah.
And, can't wait to get started. So it's like I say, I've only been on since Monday. Mm-hmm. Everybody's fantastic, really nice. Had a couple of team calls and everybody's been fantastic and very helpful, up and running with the lab, and yeah, it's been great.
Good. So you did a lot of work, obviously Citrix pre-sales, then into product management.
Yeah, I did miss a big piece out of that, but I was responsible and founded with Christian Riley Citrix Workspace, which is kind of a big thing. I was known as Mr. Workspace in Citrix. And in I think it was 2016 or 2017, I was fortunate enough to stand up on keynote with Kirill Tatarinov, who was the CEO at the time, Calvin Fu and PJ Hoof, and we did a semi-live demo of Workspace. And that was kind of one of the biggest biggest achievements with me was that finally.
Yeah, bringing it.
Yeah, sure. And that was huge. And obviously the future of Citrix is Workspace. All you hear them talk about is Citrix Cloud and Citrix Workspace. In 2021, they're going to be talking about transitioning their customers from storefront to Workspace.
Yeah. So huge amount of Citrix going on. Obviously in 2020, we saw loads of customers expand out existing estates and stuff. What do you think is in store for 2021 and why is EUC still relevant?
I think, as much as, everybody goes on about the virus and, you can look at this as one of two ways. I'm more of a positive person than a negative person. I think what this virus has caused is customers have had to adopt the cloud. Yeah. They haven't had a choice, right? I remember talking to Chevrolet, I think, in the US, and they were like, "Oh, we're going to need to spin up these NetScalers, these storefronts." And Jason Samuel said, "Well, why don't you just use Citrix Cloud and Citrix Workspace?" He had them up and running, 9 sites in one day.
Yeah,
talking to their existing Zen App and Zen Desktop stuff, and they got 9,000 users. We saw Citrix Workspace, the active users won't blow you away, but we saw it go from 25,000 daily active users. Like these are people actually logging in to somewhere around the lines of 500,000 daily active users, wow. Which isn't big, but it was big in comparative to what we did before. So things like the virus have just really forced or made customers they've just got to make that, as they say from, if you've seen Spider-Verse, got to take that leap of faith.
Yeah.
And that's what it is. And I think you're going to just see more of that, irrespective of this virus and how long it's going to be around for. You see companies like Okta who have already declared that all employees can now work from home.
Yeah.
You're going to see that with a lot of companies. I've seen it with some of the financials, not all of them. Traders are going to have to go back into the office, but so you're going to see this point where 60% of the workforce are going to be working from home, and how do you enable them to continue to work in the way that they did when they were in the office? And so I don't really see that changing. I don't, even if the cure is out tomorrow and everybody could go back to the office, they won't. So I don't think it's going to change, Simon. If anything, I think it's just going to be something that people are going to want to do more of, and irrespective of the virus, go, well, what if this happens again? And if you look at it, I've talked to so many of my friends, still at Citrix. They were always, I can't leave Citrix because I live in Fort Lauderdale, and the only two companies in Fort Lauderdale are Citrix and Magic Leap and IGEL. So if I need to change job, I need to change state. And what you're now seeing is, I don't care where you work. I spoke to Teleperformance, which is a Mexican outsourcing call center. And basically, I spoke to all their execs, and they were like, the limit is our internet. Where is the internet available? And we'll hire the best people. We're no longer bound by the locality of where the employee. As long as they can speak Spanish or English, and they have access to the internet, I'll hire them. And I think that's good for companies, because that now means you can hire the best employees, not necessarily who's available to you based on the criteria that HR may have specified in the past.
Yeah, exactly. So I think it's quite interesting to talk about the cloud, because I think the cloud is an enabler in so many ways, but at the same time, it brings some challenges with it because of the sheer pace at which technology can evolve, right? And you've only got to look at Citrix as a classic example, right? The pace at which Citrix Cloud is evolving is significantly quicker than how me and you were deploying Citrix 10, 15 years ago. I mean, we used to set the thing up in a room and leave it alone, and we wouldn't have to touch it for 6 months, right?
Exactly.
And I think that's one of the things that we've definitely seen at IGEL. People still come to me now and they're like, what are you doing at this thin client company? I'm like, number one, we're not thin. Number one, it's not thin client. And number two, the reason why we need it at the moment is because, as the cloud is moving so quickly, the need to keep the endpoint up to date and still yet managed and secure continues to be a challenge. And I suppose that's what's driving a lot of the business that we've got at the moment. And hence why, we welcome guys like you to come and join us.
So I think that's an interesting point. And, I remember when you went to IGEL, and I was like, why has Simon gone to IGEL? They do thin clients. And you very quickly educated me on that. And I think, there's 2 points there. I think, where IGEL are with this kind of re-education of we're not a thin client company is a bit like where Citrix were when I started in 2008 of we don't just do virtual apps.
Yeah.
So it was you go around and, this yourself, you educate people on what Citrix actually do. And if they came to Chalfont, there's this tagline I had, can I have a Citrix mouse, the X1 mouse? I love those honey glazed sausages with the little sesame seeds on it. And the third thing they said was, I didn't know you did that.
Yeah.
And if you got that last one, that was when you kind of had them hooked in. And I think that's one of the things I do that does appeal to me, is that re-education to the customers of what IGEL actually does. But the thing I always loved about Citrix was that we're agnostic.
Sorry, you're a what?
We're agnostic. That was all the method. We worked with Zen Server, we worked with VMware. We were completely agnostic. And I love that about IGEL. When you're with the customer, you go, I don't care what you use.
Yeah.
What I'm saying to you is, whatever you use, I'll make this stuff work for you.
Yeah. Yeah.
And that, whether it's, saw you earlier on, you've got Teams running locally on your machine, which I've actually used for my daughter she's got a MacBook and she didn't want to install software. So I've given her a UD Pocket plugged into a MacBook Pro. She's got Teams installed locally, a browser.
Yeah.
And she just unplugs it. So I love that. Just that kind of simplicity of what it kind of can enable. I mean, I've done a MacBook Air. I've got a Nook, got a MacBook Air here. I can't do the newer devices just yet with Apple, but it's a very compelling story. And so I think it's everybody's been anybody I've spoken to about IGEL, whether they're in Citrix or outside of Citrix, just phenomenally positive about the technology, the people, and the culture.
Good. All right. So quickly to wrap up, what's your favourite film?
See, this is like asking what's your favourite kid. Although
I have one. It's fine.
No, I do as well. It depends what mood I'm in, but if I'm in a kind of a actiony movie, it's got to be The Avengers.
Yeah. Any particular one?
Yes. So I do like. Yeah. I wasn't a fan of Ultron, The Age of Ultron. It was all right, but the first one and the fourth one, I did get a bit emotional on the fourth one. I was punching air in a cinema.
Right.
So I did love that one. And if I'm in a soft mood, I do like a movie called About Time, which is an English film actually.
Okay.
I like it because I didn't have a great relationship with my dad, but it shows about, like if you like, I wish I had a relationship like that with my son or dad.
Right. Yeah.
And it just kind of reflects to me. I was like, when I'm that age, I hope my son and I have that relationship like I do with my daughter. So from the mushy kind of thing, yeah, that's
good choice. Favorite hobby?
Love to drink. I love to make drinks, and I love to cook food. I like. I've got a Wagamama's book somewhere, and I've been doing you probably saw on my Facebook of duck.
Yeah.
The duck. What do you call it? The ramen, duck ramen, and steak ramen, and nice. Yeah, I love to cook. Making.
But you balance that with fitness somehow.
Yeah, I do. Yeah, so I eat lots, and then I run 6 miles every day.
6 miles is very impressive.
I'm trying to be. It's really nice because Fred reached out to me and said, "Hey, we've got this IGEL runs thing," and I didn't realize I was competitive. Like if you and I had a race, I wouldn't try and beat you because I'd kill myself. But when you're individually doing something, like I think Jed's at 15 miles, Fred's at 12 miles. Yeah. Timo was I think on Sunday, he was at 22.18. So I ensured that I ran 22.21 just to ensure that I'm in second. So
I can guarantee you that the CEO is doing something very similar right now to make sure he's on top of the leaderboard for the town hall on Thursday.
Yeah, so I'll make sure to have to do like a long run. So yeah, that's been really good, and I wouldn't say I enjoy it, but it's a good way. I mean, I've lost 3 stone. You and I spoke, but I was Citrix put this horrible photo of me. I looked like a whale. Not that whales are ugly, but I looked very big. I was 16 stone 3. I don't know what that is in kilos and whatever. It was a lot, like 110 kilos maybe. And now I'm down at 83 kilos. I'm at 13 stone 4.
Yeah, that's very good.
I still drink. I still eat. Just balance it out with runs and HIIT training and.
Good. So, how do people get in contact with you?
Right, I'm not a prima donna, but my name is incredibly complex to spell. Everybody thinks they know how to spell it, but they can't. So it's Craig@igel.com.
Got it. And you're on Twitter?
I am. Hinchliffe should change up really at Hinchliffe76 because that kind of contradicts what I just said. I'm on LinkedIn and all those other things. So you can. I'm not one of those that tweets all the time. I'm one, if I have an opinion or I want to share something, I don't retweet other people's stuff unless it's kind of thought-provoking and I have an opinion on it. So, but when I do post stuff, I do post stuff.
Good. All right, listen, I know you've got meetings to go to, so have I. Welcome aboard.
Thank you again.
Greatly appreciate your time this afternoon. Love having you with us and look forward to a great 2021.
Thanks, Simon. Look after yourself, mate.
All right, mate. See you in a minute. Bye.
Yeah, bye-bye.